Welcome everyone, I'm at the Eiffel Tower. It's time to recap day 4.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Inside the Circle podcast. We're recapping day 3 and what a day it was. The heat first off was just unbelievable. We're once again joined by Alan in Paris. How was your day today?
It was really hot.
Yeah.
It was brutally hot.
So I believe it just seemed
just
tapping all day.
Just mad. I was in and around the Champ de Mars, the Eiffel Tower area, and just horrendous heat. Really, really hot. I don't know what it was like for the guys on the pitch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's probably best to start off the home nations, I think. Just
think
personal interest.
Yeah.
The first game up was GB and Netherlands for the home nations. Now, this was the epitome of a 50-50 game. The possession was 50-50. The result ended up being 2-2. So it was an unbelievably close game. It was really back and forth pressure right from the start from both. Maybe the added pressure was the fact that they had royalty of Princess Anne watching the game for GB. GB had a lot of early chances, but just couldn't get anything from it. The Dutch just seemed to have a really good answer for everything that the GB guys were doing. This sort of stayed throughout, and we ended up in quarter 2, and it was the first time we've seen it. And again, it's probably because of the heat. We had to have a water bottle brought on for the injectors for the penalty corners because the pitch at that point was just drying out again from that repetitive movement. So they brought some water on to see if that would help for any future ones. It was a back and forth first half. Nothing massively exciting happened. Coming into the second half of the game, GB were definitely far more attacking, and it was still being smothered by the Dutch very quickly. The Dutch scored with 1 minute 15 left of quarter 3, and it was a fantastic reverse hit from the Dutch attacker. It was really, really impressive. I think it's sort of caught everyone off guard because it was the first clean shooting opportunity of the game. We then went into quarter 4, and the Dutch scored very quickly from an open play. It took several touches off defenders and attackers, and I think that's what ultimately sort of wrong-footed Ollie Payne for the goal to eventually stand. Very quickly, GB got a goal. It was a really tight angle from Morton, who dribbled up and had the shot. They took Ollie Payne off with about 3 minutes 30 to go. And this was a good move from them because at this point, the pressure was definitely turning into GB's favour. So I think this was a good move to have that extra player on the pitch just to keep that pressure going for GB. They eventually got their goal. It was a short corner. Again, another rebound off. Morton got his second goal from a bouncing sort of half volley in. Really impressive strike. I think it ended up being 2-2, and that was the right result for the game. I think there wasn't a lot of difference between the two teams when they were playing. I think the draw definitely feels like a win for GB, but I think it feels probably much more like a loss for the Netherlands after being 2-0 up at quarter 4, because it all happened within a 5-minute period of the last quarter.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so after the game happened, I was doing a bit of research on it, and Remington, the new coach for GB, seems to have almost baseball in the cricket style play where they want to entertain. The GB guys want to entertain people when they're playing, and it definitely did within 5 minutes of the last quarter. I think they've come out with this mantra of when they're training, if a man and his dog goes to walk past, they want that man and the dog to stop and watch them train because it's even their training is exciting, which is interesting to see.
I mean, that's what you want. I mean, this is just going to be something that is, people can put a label on that this is the style we're going for. And look, it's working for England cricket at the minute. Why wouldn't it work for anyone else? And hockey's so quick that you can really work on it. Then following that, you really then had the Ireland match against India.
Yes, and look, Ireland have been doing really well. throughout their games. And again, this was another match they did very, very well. They shouldn't be disheartened with their performance. They inevitably lost 2-0. The possession stats again, it was 49-51 to India. And again, circle entries, it was 16-18 to India. So it was a close game. They had roughly the same amount of opportunities throughout it. The game started off with really good defensive work in outfield play and equally in the short corner defense for Ireland. I thought they did really, really well. Really fast-paced match right from the get-go, and that continued throughout the game. How any of them were able to manage that in that heat was really impressive. India, though, in the first quarter were awarded a stroke, and Harmanpreet scored very easily. It was a really strong rocket of a penalty stroke. Quarter two came. India again scored quite quickly. It was another penalty corner flick from Harmanpreet right into the roof of the net. There was absolutely no stopping it. Davy Hart had no chance. At this point, the game slightly turned, in my opinion. I thought from this point on, Ireland really had a good attacking threat throughout. The downside was they just didn't have the finishing power. So they didn't. They were up. They were attacking quite a lot, but no outcome from it.
As you say, I think all the players are playing well. I just, as you say, that last bit is not going for them at all. They're not just converting. And if they could just switch that into gear, where they could be, and it's these fine margins. Everybody talks about it in every sport, from cycling to swimming. These small margins that allow the just to change, going from we're there to we're actually involved and getting the wins. Yes,
absolutely. I think that sums up Ireland's performances in these past few games absolutely to a T. They went into the second half again defending penalty corner after penalty corner, really impressive. They were saving penalty corners off the line or making a great save from Davy Hart. And then they were right up the other end to put pressure on India. In the last bit of the third quarter, Ireland had several short corners in a row, but again, nothing came out of it. Fourth quarter, very similar to the third. A lot of pressure was being put on by Ireland, but again, no final product, no finishing product from it. And it sort of summed the game up quite impressively, to say the least, when Ireland had 10 short corners and didn't score any. India had 9 short corners and only scored 1. You can see that Ireland had the pressure on throughout the game, just couldn't finish. But equally that India only have this sort of attacking threat from penalty corners. Again, during the game, there was no real outfield play threat from them. They seemed to rely on, we're going to get a short corner, we're going to score from a short corner, but they weren't scoring from the short corner.
Yes. Yeah.
They weren't. You had then, you decided to watch the early morning games, the Spain-France derby.
Yeah, an interesting one. There's a common theme in this, and I'm listening to you and myself in the last couple of days. The game started with pace. Yeah. All these games are starting at 100 miles an hour. And absolutely. It's such a change in the game that the athletes are able to maintain this. Now, rolling subs, etc., but not everybody gets off the pitch. It seems to be the forwards and some of the midfielders. But, this game, again, started with pace, and France scored a deflective shot in a goal by Timothy Clermont in the 8th minute. Spain then went down the far end and hit the post.
Right.
And, it just became end-to-end stuff. From that, back down the far end again, and Timothy scores again by nutmegging the goalkeeper in a brilliant shot. Really good. That guy's a big guy. I have to say, quarter two, Spain came. Spain came back in the second quarter. Got a tip in at the back post by Alvaro Ingles to make it 2-1. And again, Spain continued to attack. First half, third quarter, just got a bit scrappy. So everybody nearly went, right, oh, that's half. We're halfway through this. Sat down in the change room and sort of went, oh, right, catch my breath. And I just got a bit scrappy to start with.
Right, yeah.
Spain came back, scored another goal to make it 2-2. And I'm going to try and attempt it. It's VI Longa.
Okay.
And then 2 minutes later, he's off for 2 minutes on a green card for a tackle at the pitch.
Oh,
it was that breathless up and down the pitch. And then, Spain then just stopped France getting the ball for a bit, and France just did a bit of running around the pitch, just chasing. But then 50 seconds to go in the third quarter, Spain got a penalty corner. They miss it. France go down the far end with 20 seconds to go, and Victor Charlet scores to make it 3-2. So you're going, what is happening here?
What is happening?
Exactly. And then in the fourth quarter, Spain come back. They score a penalty corner by Pepe Canvel to make it 3-3. Both goalkeepers played well. Here's another theme. The goalkeepers are keeping the game going. I think, and I'm just going on memory here, I think one of the French goals or pressure attacks led from a rebound off the French goalkeeper's leg guard straight up. It talk about high rebound. It rebounded right out and led to an attacking play. So it was end-to-end stuff, and both goalkeepers played really, really well. Circle penetrations, Spain 26 and France 20. It's probably about right. I think France will be absolutely delighted with a point and not to finish with 0 points. I mean, absolutely. I just think that it's good. It's a good result for France. I think they'll be happy enough.
Result for France.
So you then had Argentina, New Zealand.
Yes, again, another match on paper that, if you were to look at all the stats, was incredibly close. Possession was 45-53 in favour of New Zealand, even though they lost 2-0. So it really started, again, going back to the same thing, huge amounts of pressure and attacking pressure early on from New Zealand. Their ball retention and passing accuracy was really impressive. So I was really impressed with the New Zealand players. Though there was all of a sudden this controversial 10-minute yellow in the end of the first quarter. And
yeah, saw that.
It didn't quite make sense. And even when they showed the replays, I still wasn't quite any wiser on why the 10-minute came. It seemed to be just a falling. To me, it looked like a whole bunch of falling bodies happened, and the umpire went, "You've fallen and taken him out. Here's 10 minutes." But look, no one complained and everyone moved on. Like I said, New Zealand were really playing the ball nicely round, making it really effortless. Going into quarter two, Argentina scored their first goal from a brilliant reverse shot from the Argentinian Domine. It was taken over the sprawling Dixon. He made a save earlier on and he just couldn't get himself back for the next save. All of a sudden, after this goal, Argentina became Argentina again. Started playing really nice flowing hockey. It was a really entertaining first half. So it was, and this carried on throughout the game. It was an entertaining match. New Zealand went into the second half pressing hard and putting the Argentinian defence under huge amounts of pressure. They were hitting the post. I think they hit the post 2 or 3 times. So they were put again. The pressure was there. The scoring intent was there. Back down the other end, Dixon was making some fantastic saves from the Argentinians.
He's such a good keeper. He really is. I mean, he there's nothing flary. There's nothing spectacular about him. He's just a good, solid keeper.
I would totally agree. And that game, I saw that absolutely come through. Again, Argentina started to play their Argentinian style halfway through this quarter. But finally, fourth quarter came and New Zealand got their first short corner of the match, which I thought was really impressive from an Argentinian point of view, that they defended really clean. Yes, they were under pressure for 3/4 of the match, but they defended really clean and only gave the short corner away in the fourth quarter. again, impressive defending. Unfortunately, Kane Russell, their sort of drag flick expert, he got injured from this. Again, a clash of bodies. He's landed awkwardly, sort of hyperextending his knee. He had to be helped off. So I really hope that he's okay to carry on for the rest of the tournament. He'll definitely be missed. But so going from that, it's really interesting, and it's really nice to see a lot of cooker sticks being used by the New Zealand guys.
Yes.
Now, I don't know, and it's being used by the top New Zealand guys, which again is really nice to see. There was a few Australians later on in the day using them as well, so it's good to see that brand really coming through on the world stage. Fourth quarter came to a close, but it was not until they sort of New Zealand pulled their goalkeeper with about 4:10 to go, which was about right. They then again were piling on that pressure, and with 4 seconds left, Argentina threw an incredible aerial the length of the pitch to a 2-on-1 situation, and brilliant pass across the goal for Martinez for a deflection. New Zealand were a great team. They just couldn't finish. A bit like Ireland today as well. They just couldn't finish off in the D. And again, short corners, they had Argentina had 7, didn't score any, and New Zealand had 6 and didn't score any. So it's interesting to see the attacking plays leading to short corners, but the short corners aren't leading to anything more.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you had the confusing game, maybe, of sort of South Africa and Germany.
Yeah, this was South Africa 1, Germany 5. It just started, and after 45 seconds, top of the circle, in Gonzalo Payet just stepped in, scored. Again, top of the circle, taking everyone by surprise, scored. And at the end of the first half, they then got a stroke, and Chris Ruhr stepped up and scored that, and it was total domination. First quarter, Germany.
Yeah.
And then the second quarter, Germany's third goal was scored by Justice Vanguard in front of goal. Look, the whole thing was made by Nicholas Vellen. I mean, he had a cracking game, and he just set Vanguard up for that, and Vanguard can thank him for that. So at half time, circle penetrations, South Africa 0, Germany 15. So it just shows you.
German efficiency at a finest.
Yeah. Again, I think the Germans went in and went, this is it. It's done. It's dusted. And I'm probably just relaxed a bit at half time. Because South Africa came back out again, and Matthew Guys-Brown scored a great penalty corner, low dive or low flick, backboard height. But the German keeper, you can watch him. He stands, he slaps his glove, slaps the crossbar. He does it about 3 times. He was still hitting the crossbar as the injection came out, and they put up, his bottom right, and they scored. So to me, he wasn't paying attention. He was too much of this banging and slapping and everything else. I'm surprised the umpires haven't spoken to him about it, because to me, it's just, there's no need for it. You're just putting it off. So that's 3-1, and then it was made 4-1. Germany penalty corner again. Cracking drag flick by Payet again.
That was really impressive.
Yeah. It then started to get a bit nasty on the pitch. It just, the fourth quarter started. It was really feisty. There was bodies being pushed in. It was getting quite physical. South Africa went, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the elbow in and everything else. The umpire had to stop and speak to the German captain, and basically was saying, you can't have this. Your players are going down. Your players are diving.
Wow.
It wasn't, that's what it was. Any sort of bump, the Germans were then going up, bit football-esque, and without the 3 rules, but holding their head. I'm not saying they weren't hit. They were. It was physical. It got very physical. There was just a lot of sledging, and everything just was starting to get really bad. And it was both teams. You know, they were just both at it. You know, so after the captain got spoken to in the 58th minute, he went down. Graham Bush went down and reversed stick goal. So take that. The South Africa goalkeeper again played well. It just wasn't a nice game. It really just, I wouldn't want to watch it again. I really wouldn't. It wasn't a nice game. Velen was outstanding. He just controlled the show for me. He just had some, you know, he wasn't taking the glory. He was just making certain passes, moving the ball. He was doing a great job. Circle penetrations. South Africa 6, Germany 27.
Holy smoke! Right.
Just there you go. And then you had a bit of a high scoring match next with Belgium, Australia.
Yes, it was the final game of the day, and it was the replay of the Tokyo gold medal match. So and that obviously went to penalty shuttle. So I think everyone went, this is going to be another really close game. It ended up being 6-2 to Belgium.
Okay, that close?
No, it was again on paper. It was 51% to Australia, 49% to Belgium. It's definitely becoming evident. It's the teams that are taking those chances. They're having almost equal amount of chances throughout the game. Again, circle entries for Australia 28, Belgium only 19. So actually there was a slight difference here, but the Belgians were taking their chances. So started off really well by the media crew leaving the rugby pad protection in the net to stop the net camera being damaged during the warm-ups. So he got a good cheer once he finally got that out and ran off the side of the pitch. Started off in quarter one, both had a lot of early chances up and down the pitch. Going back to the same thing we said for almost all these games, the intensity at the start from both teams was unbelievable. Belgium got a penalty corner fairly early on, and the usual man, Hendrick, steps up and puts another fantastic drag flick into the bottom corner.
He's such a good player.
He's unbelievable. And even during the game, he is a fantastic player. He's so calm on the ball and delivers fantastic passes wherever he needs them to go. Then a bit of a weird one happened. Belgium had having an attacking play down the pitch, reached about halfway, lovely sort of disguised sweep from the halfway line out to a Belgium attacker close to the corner. Belgian attacker completely missed it, so everyone turned. Belgian players, Australian players, everyone turned because it was going off the back line, but it hit the corner flag. It hit the corner flag pole and came back out. So actually, the Belgian guy started his turn, and all of a sudden, the ball came back and landed at his feet, and he went, "Oh, okay," and ran into the circle. And because of the Australians had all stood up to walk away, put it against the foot, won a short corner, and it was a fantastic short corner drag flick from Tom Boone to get their second goal.
At the end, what a mistake! I'd love to hear what the coach had to say about that.
Oh, absolutely!
Play the whistle.
Play the whistle. This is the thing. Everyone stopped. It was very funny to watch because, like I said, even the Belgian guy stopped. The guy who got the ball to win the short corner stopped. And it just so happened to land back at his feet, and he went on. Belgian pressure in the second quarter again was really high. It was relentless. Australia won several short corners in the first quarter and the second quarter, but they were both defended brilliantly, ran down, nothing came of them. Australia then finally got their goal. Sharp had a fantastic hit from the sort of just inside the D, got an aerial delivered to him, got on the bounce. Great goal. Belgium then had an answer straight away. They got their third goal from an attacking play that was finished off by Tom Boone. Great 3D skills. Was in a really tight, congested area. Lifted ball past the defender and flicked into the roof of the net in just that really silky movement. You weren't saving that for love nor money. Time came, and I think that was a good break for everybody. Everyone needed that. It was quite a frantic first half, as usual. Quarter three started. Australia were awarded a penalty corner because it was put out directly from the Belgian keeper. So ball came up, and he's padded straight off the back line, short corner. Nothing came of it, though. Belgium then went up, scored their fourth goal from a rebound off a Hendricks penalty corner. It was tapped in by Van Obel put it in from a tap in. And then again, very quickly after, a fifth goal came. Who was it now? It was Kenya got the ball and again stole the ball, ended up with plenty of space, really strong drive. It was probably just inside there, the Australian half, and dribbled right into the D. Two defenders were shadowing, but never made the tackle. He got to the edge of the D and went, "Oh, I'm having a hit." Again, fantastic hit right across the goal into the opposite sideboard. So it was a fantastic goal. Australia then came back, scored their second. Really well worked again. Witcham worked it down the byline. Oh, got a fly. Worked it down the byline, pulled it back 90 degrees for Glovers to score. Quarter four really went the same direction, to be honest. There was not much of a change from the style of play. Boone eventually scored the sixth goal, which was again another rocket of a short corner flick, which then gave him his hat-trick. All in all, it was a very dominant performance, in my opinion, from Belgium. I think Australia will be really disappointed with that result and how they played. Again, considering they're top of the pro league, this was meant to be their sort of uation on from playing so well. This was a really, really strong performance from Belgium. It really sort of put a stamp on, actually, we're still here and we're still playing very good hockey.
Yeah, because you would. There's no way you would have predicted that score in any way.
No,
you would have gone for a 3-3 draw and
yes,
probably been happy enough.
Or it would have been a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win. It was going to be a 1-goal victory for the teams, but no, it was just a dominant performance from Belgium. Now, the domination of all these performances throughout the day, I think, leads me on to sort of one of my thoughts for the day. There's been so many penalty corners in 3 days. In 3 days of hockey, there's been a lot of penalty corners, but the conversion rate for these is really, really low. If you think about it, Belgium scored 2 out of 7 in their game, but Australia had 8 short corners and didn't score any. Looking back at the Argentina-New Zealand game, Argentina 7 didn't score any. New Zealand 6 didn't score any. There's a lot of short corners happening, but not a lot of goals from it in both the men's and women's competition. So it is. So I don't know if this is
goalkeepers.
You and your goalkeeper family. I don't know if this is down to poor attacking routines where they're just relying on drag flickers, headers from the top of the D, or is this down to a much better penalty corner defensive routines? Because it seems to be there's a lot of rewards, so there's a lot of first runners.
Yes,
getting down to the ball, putting the sort of guys in the top of the D under a lot of pressure. So there's a lot of rewards. So I don't know if that's leading to the flickers or the hitters getting tired, because again, a lot of pressure, you're putting a lot of effort into it. I don't know what it is. It's just really interesting to see all these short corners in one, but nothing happening from them.
Yeah, and any short corners, it's funny you should say that, any short corners that are being scored, I think, and again, it's a generalization, but I think they've all been quite low drag flicks. They've all been backboard height or just slightly above.
Yeah,
there isn't this roof of the net sort of. Those are rare. There's been more of them. Have all been quite low. And again, big keeper, tall keeper. Do you make them go down as low as you can? Try and move them around as much as possible.
I totally agree with that.
It's an interesting one because the retaking of the short corners is an interesting one. In notes that I've made, I've gone × 2, × 3.
Yeah.
Even × 4. You're going, well, the one penalty corner has led to 4 of these.
Yes.
And I just wonder if I'm not sure if they can look at a rule change or whatever, what needs to happen. But I think, as you say, it's an interesting stat.
It is, and especially if those teams are relying on short corner goals. The likes of India, for example, they've not a great outfield attacking presence, so they're relying on short corners. They're relying on Harmon to score these, and when he's not, realistically, that Ireland game there, it was a short corner and a stroke, and that was it. There's not a lot happening from them in terms of attacking, finishing. So I don't know if that's going to make the teams like India really struggle throughout this, because they're just not converting. Again, you've got all these huge stars. Again, unless you've got Janssen as a second name, in both the men's and women's, they're really struggling to convert. And again, it's probably not helped by the heat. So it was unbelievable. It was 40 degrees for the GB game at pitch side, which is just how you can play hockey at that level and not be just physically drained after 5 minutes of running around. If there's a slight warm breeze here, I struggle. So the fact that it was 40 degrees there is just unbelievable. But what's actually impressing me quite a lot in this heat is the pitch is holding up really well.
Yes.
So it's a new one of the new pitches that's been laid down for the two, pitch 1 and pitch 2. It's the new materials that they've used. I think quite a lot of it's is it bamboo or
sugarcane or something?
Yeah. So again, I don't know if that's meaning the water retention is so much better. Yes, I know they're watering it between each of the breaks, but it's definitely holding water throughout the quarters really, really well. And again, really well in this heat. As I said again, if that was here after 5 minutes of the pitch being watered, it's dry. Even in 10 degrees of heat above. So it's very good. And I was speaking to Simon Mason after the GB game he was covering, and everyone's coming off the pitch again, even in this heat, saying that it's playing really well. It's playing fast. There's no issues with it. The guys are really enjoying playing on the pitch, which is great to see.
It is indeed. Hockey's doing its best for the environment. It's very difficult. And this Olympics, it's very noticeable here in Paris that everything is very much environmentally sound. They've only had to build 2 venues. There's only 2 venues being built. Everything else now, the transport between that is now a little bit further than some other Olympics. Plastic bottles have gone, cutlery, all of that. It's just gone. They've made it law now. Here in the hotel, you go downstairs. There's a machine to fill your bottles of water, and it's there's real change. And hockey has to do that. Hockey has to do that to stay in the games.
Absolutely, and especially we're probably bar swimming one of the bigger producers of water waste. So we are. So it's great to see that they're not having to worry about it as much now. But guys, once again, thank you very much for watching today's episode on the recap of day 3. Let us know in the comments below what you thought your day 3 moment was, and as always, please like and subscribe. We love doing this, and we hope that you are too. And we'll see you tomorrow for the day 4 recap. Thank you very much, Alan. Have a good sleep.
Take care. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.